Then he has to pay for the burial ground of each an individual among them. To cut it short, when Imam Hussein got to Karbala on the earth of Iraq on 2nd, then there was exchange of letters. Then Umar ibn Saad was already sent to a place to go and be governor of that place. But when the issue of Imam Hussein alayhi salam came up, they have to recall him back. That time Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad has already taken over Kufa, because the message got to Yazid ibn Muawiyah that the governor there, which is Al-Walid ibn Utbah, is not doing his bidding. He's not very harsh against who? Against Muslim ibn Aqil that was sent there. Therefore, they need somebody who is merciless. Somebody that does not care when he kills, he laughs. He derives joy from killing. They want somebody. Then that was why Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was suggested to Yazid ibn Muawiyah to take over from Al-Walid ibn Utbah. And when Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad got to Kufa, initially the way he dressed, people even thought that it was Imam Hussein that arrived. See how they were jubilating that Imam Hussein has arrived. But at the end of the day, they discovered that he's Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he tried to terrify the entire environment. He bribed everybody, every king, every village head, he bribed them with thousands of dirham. And at the end of the day, he has his way. But Umar ibn Saad was promised that he's going to be given Ray. Ray is a town or a state in Iran today. He's going to be governor there. Initially, when Umar ibn Saad was called to come and take over the leadership of the camp of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, he sought the opinion of some few people he knew. They all told him categorically, it is not good for you to lead the army that is going to kill the grandson of the Holy Prophet. But this word has entered him. The material word has entered Umar ibn Saad, because he doesn't want to lose where? Lay. He wants to be governor. Just like today, our politicians can kill and kill. They don't care in as far as they will get their way to get what they want. Then it continued until when Al-Huda ibn Yazid al-Rayahi was sent to Imam Hussein by Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad to stop Imam Hussein from entering Kufa. When he got to Imam Hussein, they came very thirsty, their animals. Imam Hussein, when they got to where they are, they occupy. Imam Hussein and the soldiers went to occupy where the water is. Then, when they arrived there, Imam Hussein asked his companions first that they should give them water. He has not even asked them what brought them. These are the kind of imams we have. No matter the situation they find themselves, they are fair to everybody. Ask them, the animals should be fed. Everybody, all of them drank water, including the animals. When the time of Zuhr came, then Imam Hussein does not impose himself upon all. No, he knows that it's Imam al-Ma'asum, infallible Imam. He said, what's his name? Hur, do you want to lead your own people? So that I will lead my own people. He gave him that option. Then Al-Huda told him, no, you are going to lead all of us. They joined the Saf of Imam Hussein, and after they prayed, he asked him, okay, what brought you here? He told him that he was sent by Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad to stop him. Either he should do bay'ah or stop him. Then he said, okay. Imam Hussein explained to him why they are there. It's you people that sent letter to us to come. But Al-Huda said, I'm not one of them. I don't even know about the letter. He said, okay. If you don't know about the letter and you don't allow me to go back to Medina. He said, no. Yazid categorically told him that he should not allow you to enter Medina, and he should not allow you to go back to where? To Medina. You should choose another way. He made things very difficult for Imam Hussein. At the end of the day, until the 9th, just we are cutting it small so that we can round up. Until the 9th of Muharram. The 9th of Muharram came, according to Zainab al-Kubra, she said they were sitting down. That very time, she had some noises. And she went inside and told Imam Hussein that as if the enemies were approaching. Imam Hussein called Abu Fadl Abbas. He said, go out and check and see what is happening. He went out and checked and saw that Umar ibn Saad and his armies were there. They came with two options. Because Imam Hussein had been exchanging letters with them. Now, the options are two. Imam Hussein, either you do bay'ah or we go into action. Imam Hussein told them, go and tell them that, okay, we have heard what they say, but please, they should give us this night to think of what to do. They should just spare us this night. It is not just now when, here, that time, there is a lot of exchange of letters, dialogue, you discuss before the war starts. Then they listen to him, they said, okay, tomorrow is the last day. No more excuses tomorrow. Why the question should be asked, why did Imam Hussein decided to prolong this matter before on 10th? You that was sent as a leader to mankind, you have to try to see by all means how to save them from the torment of hellfire on the day of Qiyamah. That was what Imam Hussein was trying to do. That was why he was very categorical in his statement on the day of Ashura. That baynana wa baynakum al-an nahnu al-ikhwa. Between we and you, we are all brothers. But when we start this war, I bet you anybody that die among you will go to hellfire. Before that time, they still have chance to think, to have the think. Either to come back to the fold of Islam or to remain in their kufr. Because the battle of Karbala is not battle between Muslims, it's between Islam and kufr. It should be it's something that is well known and it has been established. That was the reason anybody among the soldiers of Yazid ibn Muawiyah that has an atom of Iman with him will never remain in the camp of Yazid. Then Imam Hussein told them, give us this night, and they went and told Umar ibn Saad, they said, okay, we are going. That night, when it comes, Zainab al-Kubra was saying that she was sitting down somewhere. She heard Imam Hussein reciting some poems. And when she, as an Arab person, when she heard that poem, she burst into cry because the poem is signifying that tomorrow they are going. Do you know what it takes to take the entire family? Only the Hashimiyin, about 18 of them attained martyrdom. 18 from the one household. Not ordinary people. If we are ordinary. But under the leadership of a Masum, about 18 out of 72, according to some riwayah, made sacrifice that day. Zainab al-Kubra said, when she heard this poem that Imam Hussein was reciting, she cannot take it. Then she went and called, she was the one nursing Imam Zainul Abidin. She went and informed Imam Zainul Abidin what she heard from his father. He told Zainab that he also had the poem when his father was reciting it. And he knows that there's no way out tomorrow. They are going to lose their beloved ones. Then, that tomorrow, in that night, everybody were preparing. Because you know tomorrow is the end. They are making their preparations. Then Imam Hussein alayhi salam called the members, the household, all the companions, and told them that I want to address you. There's no companion that is better than all of you here. You are the best of the companions. And you have shown your allegiance, absolute allegiance to this cause. Today you have an excuse, and I will give you people excuse. What you need now, it is already dark night. Take the opportunity of this dark night. Hold yourself one after the other. Leave this place. I bet you I'm going to give you excuse on the day of Qiyamah. That is to tell you that if these people that night decided to leave, Imam Hussein will do shafa for them on the day of Qiyamah. But after Imam Hussein told them, they started coming out one after the other to renew their allegiance. Habib ibn Mudahir stood up and said, Ya Hussein, we invited you here and you want us to leave. Where do we go? Which earth will contain us after your demise? Which earth will contain us after your demise?